Today we're going to be demonstrating the new DTI Compass solution. This is the replacement for Invoice Router. The Compass solution is built on the ApplicationXtender platform. So all of the documents you have stored today, you'll still be able to access all those documents within the new ApplicationXtender and also from within the Compass solution. So this is what we're looking at here. This is the new ApplicationXtender web interface. So it's got the same look and feel that you have today. Down the side, we've got our applications, and everything within the new solution is Active Directory. So all of the groups that you belong to, if you have access to those applications or that functionality, you have access to those today. So here we can drill down into the application. You have the same similar query functions that you have today. So again, you can do lookups based on certain criteria, and then from here you can actually go in and retrieve those documents. Some of the new features they've added to the web application is the ability to drill down and to do thumbnails. So directly from the result set, you can email documents out, you can export documents out, you can export spreadsheets of that information. So the same functionality you have today within ApplicationXtender, they've now moved that information and that functionality over to the web application. So what we're going to look at now is actually Compass. So we're going to drill down, and again, all of this is based on Active Directory access. So down the side here, I have access to particular queues and processes based on the groups that I belong to. So this allows me, one of the queues I can look at is my inbox queue. So this is going to show me everything that has been assigned to me regardless of where it is in the workflow process. So just like today, you've got multiple ways of getting documents into the system. So you can use a local scanner just as you do today. You can use a multifunction device and import documents into the system. We also have an option to take documents directly from your email. So you may be getting invoices in from vendors via email. So we can go out and pull those email folders and bring those directly into Compass. So documents that come into Compass typically will go into a initial work queue that allows the processor to go in and index that document. So here we've got some documents that have come in that require indexing. So we're going to pull those documents up for indexing, and keep in mind all of this view that we have here, this layout is configurable within Compass. So we can design what fields we want to cross here at our header level and also down here at the detail level. So all of that is configured based on your requirements. We're also doing validation here. So as I key in information here, we're doing a type ahead, so I can look out here and look at a list of companies that I'm processing for. From the vendor side, we can key in the vendor number. And what you'll notice is once I tab off of this, it's actually going to perform a lookup. So what we're able to do is actually look at the vendor master within your ERP system or your accounting system and validate that we're pulling back the appropriate information. We're also able to look at only the vendors for this company if that's one of your requirements. Most ERP systems do not allow duplicates. So one of the things we built into the system is if you key in the invoice number and this invoice number and vendor number combination is a duplicate within the system, it'll notify the operator and then they can take appropriate action. We can also look at the detail or the GL information. So we're looking at, again, the chart of accounts within your ERP system. So based on this job number, I may have a specific set of activity codes that I can use. And again, we can drill down to that information. And so these are all of the account codes that are tied to that activity code. So once all of the initial indexing is done for this document, now we're ready to send this document out for approval process. And the approval process is all configurable within the Compass solution. And you have several ways that you can send it out for approval. One would be based on the job number. So for this job number, you may have 3 individuals that always have to look at these invoices prior to being paid. So you can configure that for this job number. These are the 3 individuals that need to look at it. You can also link it to a dollar amount. So it may be that each approver has an approval limit. So let's say approver number 1 has a $500 limit, approver 2 has a $2,500 limit, and approver 3 has an unlimited approval limit. So if the invoice comes in for $1,000, Once it reaches approver 2, who has a $2,500 approval limit, it doesn't have to go any further. Once that individual approves it, it's going to go back to accounting for approval process. We also have ad hoc routing. So you may have invoices that come into your system that are not linked to a specific job number. So again, those can be routed out based on the approver and the approval hierarchy, and maybe based on a dollar amount. So you've got various ways that you can route those documents out for approval. So this document has now been indexed, and now we're ready to send it out for approval. So once it goes into the system for the approval process, an email is going to be generated. It's going to go out to that approver and let that individual know that they have these invoices to be approved. One of the options within the Compass solution is mobile approval capabilities. So with a mobile app or a smart device, if someone is out in the field processing or working out in the field and doesn't have access to an office or internal to the system, through this mobile app, they can actually approve that invoice. So we're going to go into the approval process here, and we've got a couple of invoices here, so we'll pull up this first one. So the approver here can actually approve the invoice, or if that person needs to route it out to another individual for review, they have that capability. So I may be the individual that has to approve the invoice, but I want someone else to look at it, validate, acknowledge that they received the product or the service, and then send it back to me for final approval. So just like you have today, all of your rubber stamps will carry over. So here we want to stamp this invoice for approval. And so now all of this information is ready to go back to accounting and to be entered into their ERP system. So we're going to send it back now to accounting. And now we've got one here that's ready to be approved. So we're going to pull that up. So this document's ready to be approved. All the geocoding is in place. And what we want to do is to voucher that information within our ERP system. Now, one of the big things is we don't want to have to rekey information. So I'm going to go into the ERP system here, and we're going to drill down and we're going to process this document and this invoice. And what you'll notice here is on the ERP system, we now have this little icon. So what we have now done is image enable this ERP application. So now this icon is aware of the screen that we're on, it's aware of the fields that are available, and it's aware of the invoice that we're currently processing. So by simply clicking this button, it's going to bring all the information required from this invoice over to our ERP system so that we can voucher this invoice. So again, what we're doing is we're eliminating double keying of information. We're making sure that the two systems are in sync with this information. Another process, part of the Compass solution, is what we call a backfill process. So once this check has been cut, this invoice has been paid, that transaction information, that check information, is now going to be passed back to ApplicationXtender. So in the future, if someone wants to go back and retrieve this invoice, they want to look at the history, they can see what check it paid and what check amount and so forth. Another nice feature of this is that now that we know all of the information on the ERP screen, we can now go back and retrieve the document associated with that. So what typically users do today, they drill down to the invoice information in their ERP system, and then they have to make another step and go to the imaging application and retrieve that document. So with this button, we can simply double click this, and what it's going to do is actually go out and retrieve that document, and then from here we can email the document out, we can print it, we can export it, we can do all the same functionality that you have today. One of the things we heard, one of the challenges that an accounting manager has is what documents are in the process, which ones are in flight or being processed, where are they in the workflow process. So within the Compass solution, we now have a dashboard. So this dashboard gives you a 360-degree view of everything that is within the Compass solution. What invoices are out there, where they are in the process, what job they're related to, what the invoice due date is. So again, from an accounting manager standpoint, you can take a very quick view of where those invoices are in the system. So if an vendor calls up and they're getting ready to stop service or whatever, you have the ability to go out and look at that vendor and drill down to see what invoices are outstanding, what jobs are related to, and what the due date is for that. So again, if you want to be able to go out and look for all of the all of the invoices related to a specific job, you can simply click on that job number. It will show you all of the invoices and the vendors that those are associated with. So again, what we wanted to do today was give you really a high-level view of what the Compass solution has to deliver to you. What we did as part of our assessment is try to understand the features and the functionality that the users like today within their current solution. So we kept those features within the Compass solution, but then as we began to get feedback on enhancements that people wanted to see, we built those within the Compass solution. So we look forward to working with you, and any feedback, any features that you would like to see in future releases, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much.